You're tuning in to another episode of the Authentic Me podcast with your host, Mel Yu. If you are seeking growth, looking to vibrate at a higher frequency, open to hearing new perspectives and challenging your own thoughts, this is the podcast for you. My purpose is to guide and help you move that needle one thread closer to becoming your truest, most authentic self. Let's do this. Okay, welcome back to another episode of The Authentic Me. And in this episode, I am mixing it back up by inviting a very special guest onto the show, who is basically my sister from another mister, where we are doing very similar work in similar industries. I feel like I'm holding down the fort in Melbourne and she is making her impact across Sydney. Today's special boss lady goes by the name of Jada Perfect. Jada is the founder of the women's social networking community called Boss Lady Events. The platform and community brings together like-minded women in small businesses to empower, inspire, and educate one another through her coaching programs, educational workshops, and social events. Jada and her team help navigate other fellow business owners through the highs, lows, and inevitable challenges of a business. Outside of this glamorous business, she is one half, the better half, I dare say, of the husband and wife duo business Sesame Pizza, located in Hassall Grove, Sydney. I have personally been there myself for their pizzas, and this is definitely a must go to for Sydney siders, so shout out to Sesame Pizza. Having a master's degree in business management and over 10 years of running a grand total of 7 small businesses, all having effective exit strategies, there is no denying that this is one boss lady I have been eager to get onto this podcast and share her lessons and journey. So without further ado, the ambitious, the go-getter, the no bullshit, blonde bombshell, please welcome my fellow entrepreneur and dear friend, Jada. Welcome.
Hi. What an introduction. Talk about getting me motivated for the podcast.
I love it. I'm so excited to have you on. First of all, the best question that I always ask is, how are you? And you're in Sydney.
Good.
Let me know how
I'm in Sydney at the moment. I'm good. We're currently in lockdown at the moment, but with my businesses, thank God, I actually haven't been too badly affected with everything that's happening. So I am good, but would be better, with not being in lockdown.
Yeah. Especially in the event side of things, very similar to you. We're such in-person events people.
I know. Even when I seen you, I was like, I just want to cuddle you. I want to see you and cuddle you. It's so hard. And that's the thing, the biggest challenge I've had throughout this whole process of COVID is because I'm such a social person. I want to see those friends and clients and suppliers and people in the industry that I've got those relationships with. I want to see them in real life. And I think that that's definitely been something that's affected all of us, even in terms of mental health, is the fact that we're not getting that human connection and that human warmth of even just seeing someone face to face. So that's been a big challenge over the last 12 months.
Yeah. And I think everyone's feeling that. Queensland, I think, is now in a 3-day lockdown. You guys have obviously been in a lockdown right now. We just came out of lockdown 4.0. This is the new normalcy for however it is, but hopefully we get out of it soon because we need it. We need human connection.
Yeah, we need like warm hugs and lots of laughing in person.
Absolutely. More. But for now, I wanted to start off with, I think that people's childhood impact them greatly into the work that they do. So can you tell us a little bit about your childhood journey? What was that like?
Very positive, actually, now that I kind of think about it. I haven't thought about this for many years. I do come from, my dad actually lives overseas. I'm originally from Scotland, and my mum made the decision to come to Australia over 20 years ago with my sister and I. And now that I look back, I actually realised that that's impacted me in so many different ways because I've learned to cope and maybe become a little bit maybe switch off my emotions and maybe turn them to the side a little bit with not having my family around me always. So literally my whole family, apart from my mum and sister, are at home in Scotland, and it's only us here. So my mum brought us here because where we're from is not the best of places, doesn't have the most opportunities. And she was never really felt like she belonged there. So when she had me and my sister Sasha, she, you know, wanted to move to a better life. And we had an auntie that was living here, and she literally called my mum and was like, hey, I just had a thought, why don't you come to Australia? Because I know you'll really love it here. And my mum went, okay. And then she put through the application process. And then it took us 3 years to be able to come.
How old were you when you came here?
So I was 7 when I came.
Wow.
So I'm 31 now. So like Australia obviously is my home, but I've got a lot of traits and characteristics of, you know, someone from Scotland or of a Scottish background. Sometimes you'll hear in my voice, obviously right now I'm talking Aussie, g'day mate.
So your accent comes in
over the years.
Which I've told you about that, how your accent comes in and out, and then every now and then it's not fully Australian.
Yeah, so people will say sometimes, they'll be like, your voice sounds different. I'm like, because I'm Scottish. And I've got a lot of the attributes of a Scottish person. Like, we are quite dominant people. We're quite over the top. We're very loud. We like to party, have fun, very social people, just to name a few of the things that we're like. So I definitely am Scottish through and through, but I've become an Aussie. But yeah, my childhood was positive. You know, overall, I'm from a one-parent family. I've got a great relationship with my dad, but my mum has, you know, grown my sister and I and turned us into who we are today. So everything I am is very much like my mum, especially when it comes to work ethic.
Yeah.
Even my mum now, she works a full-time job. She has a side business that she also works full-time. So I think with my work ethic, it's come from my mum and the way that she does business and the risk she takes. Her hustle is, let me tell you, it is inspiring. And even now in, you know, close to 60, she's still going hard. So yeah, overall, it was really positive, but it's definitely, I'm going to say work ethic is been instilled. And you can see that today in my hustle, the way I am, the way I make money, the moves I make and decisions that I've taken throughout my life is from my mum. It's, you know, she's paved that path and she set those standards that no pressure to live up to them, but I think you just feel motivated to want to, you know, when you're feel like you're on that level.
Yeah, like when your caregiver is that ambitious and motivated, I mean, that's the environment that you grow up in, and that's what influences you. As a young kid, your most immediate family is what influences you. So even though you might not have been conscious of it, the fact that even your mum had the balls to move to another country on the other side of the world and take her 2 kids with her, that's a huge step to then migrate over here and learn a whole nother custom, a whole nother culture and everything like that. So you would have absorbed that without even, you know, having your higher knowledge now to know that that was what she was doing.
Yeah, and I think as well, like when we're young, I know that I hear a lot, oh, kids are like sponges. I don't have kids, but kids are like sponges. They're absorbing everything. They're watching everything. They're seeing everything. And sometimes I'm like, oh, calm down. No, they're not. But now when I look back, I actually see that all these things my mum's done are actually things I just do naturally. Like even speaking up about my opinion on certain things. And I know, Mel, you and I have got this in common, is that we voice our opinion, even if people, even if it's not something that someone's going to be happy to hear. Like there's been times when I've, you know, maybe checked you in line. There's been times when you've checked me in line, and it's not always been pretty conversations, but we speak up for those that we care about or those that we are working with, so we get the best result. So my mum has always been like that, like those confronting conversations she's never backed away from. And I see myself doing that, especially to my staff within my teams, and also to my friends and to my clients. I'm like, listen, this isn't going to be something you're going to like, but I'm here to tell you, because I've got to be that person that, you know, delivers this message, and I'm giving you an advanced apology, but it's going to make you better.
Absolutely. It's that tough love. So that goes on to my next question then. Would you say that your mum is the most influential person in your life, or who are the key influential people in your life? Or do they change?
No, it's definitely my mum.
Yep.
I'm not really one of those people that cares what people think of me. I'm not that in the box type of person. I just kind of go and, you know, toot my own horn and do my own thing. I'm not competitive in terms of what other people are doing. I'm competitive, but not in terms of comparing. competition. So I think my mum's really instilled that into me. And if I'm genuinely honest, probably the biggest thing that she's pushed me and my sister both in our lives is teaching us confidence. So it's just constantly pushing those boundaries of, you know, she would tell us every day how beautiful we were, how we've got good hearts and we're good people, and that's, you know, we've got good values, and this is because you're the way that you are and we accept each other as we are. Like, so I feel like she really instilled that confidence into us. And people will even say to me today, they'll be like, oh my God, you're so confident. Like, how? And I'm like, if I'm honest with you, I've taught myself to be like this.
Yeah.
I wasn't always like this, you know, like my mum has instilled it into us, but she's pushed us to become more confident, you know, even with my last name. Like, Perfect is not my last name. It's actually a nickname, right? That my sister would call me. And people will say to me, oh my God, is that really your name? And I'm like, yeah, it is actually. So even that, like, confident, and how they respond, like no flinch, no hesitation. I'm like, yes, that is my last name. Of course it is. And they don't know what to do or how to respond. And you see that obviously with my confidence projecting, you can see that their confidence is not obviously as dominant or as strong as mine because of them being hesitant to ask or to know or even think that I'm giving so much confidence to say, yes, it is actually. Yes, that's my name. So yeah, definitely my mum. She's been the biggest influence in my life. I think across both business and personal values. She's not perfect, I'll be honest with you. She's not. No one is, but she's definitely taught us to accept that not everyone is going to be like us and that that's okay.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. I think shout out to all the mums that can instill that and can be those caregivers that, you know, like you said, you don't have to have a traumatizing childhood or anything. You're saying your childhood was quite great, but that's
good.
It's ended up giving you the confidence to probably go out and achieve the things and not have those limiting beliefs. I remember when we hosted an event and I said something that demonstrated some sort of insecurity and you just backhanded it, not physically,
literally,
but you just backhanded the compliment and like the negative thought and just like switched it to a positive so naturally and so easily. And I think you do that for a lot of people, which is why you're such a good coach, because you just do not allow, your boundaries do not allow anyone to have sort of that negative talk around you or like self-talk especially, or low self-worth. You like shake it out of people. And it was just something that was so refreshing for me because it's like, you're right, I can do this, or like I can do that. And sometimes we've grown up in environments that haven't been given the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. And I think as well that we become what we think we are. So I know with me, there's my mum sneaking in now. I know that with me, for example, is like, you know, I don't let my staff talk down to themselves. I don't like them to use the HATE, hate word. When I hear that, I'm like, actually, that's a banned word. Like the F word, fuck, is actually better than hate in any environment I'm in, because it's just such a powerful word when people say, oh, I hate how I look, oh, I look like shit. Actually, no, because right now you can be wearing no makeup, not have your hair done, not wear your best outfit, be feeling your worst, but still be projecting that, you know, things are good. So your aura and your energy is smiling. So I think that's really important to instill and say to yourself when these negative thoughts come in, say, actually, no, that's not right. I'm actually not going to say that to myself, because you start to become what you tell yourself. That's why I was saying with confidence, like my mum told me every day I was beautiful.
Absolutely.
So I started to be beautiful. And I'm maybe not the most beautiful looking girl, but in myself, I know inside I am. So I project that at any given time, whether my hair's done, whether I'm looking my best or not. Like I know in my heart, I am beautiful. My intentions are pure. I'm a good person. So to me, that's beauty.
Yeah. I couldn't.
Confidence radiating.
And that's actually shown through and through in both our journeys, I think, where we can really, I mean, it's taken a hell of a time, but to actually be that raw self, like to be able to jump on camera and not wear makeup. There was a point in my life, I know, that I was so insecure about it because of what society's expectations of what beauty was. But then once I shed that and let that go, confidence is an energy level. You feel confidence and you can see confidence and in people, not because of their materialistic shell of what their body looks like. It's actually like what you're saying there. It's the personality, it's the energy, it's the aura that comes out. And I hope that we can continue to shine more of that, because more women need to see that it's not the exterior. You can carry yourself with confidence and look at someone and be like, that girl is confident, and she might not be your magazine model.
Yeah. And I think as well, exactly what you've said there, one of the biggest reasons why I connected with you back when you and I met years and years ago, from being one of your followers on Instagram, and I just loved you, and I was like, Mel, we have to be friends, was the fact that you were so authentic and being yourself, and you weren't painting that picture of everything is wonderful. Being authentic and being vulnerable, and that's what attracted me to you. So what you'll find as well is that when you're not always painting the picture of life is wonderful and things are great, when you be a real life person, whether it's about your weight or your looks or your thoughts or your feelings, mental health, and what you actually end up finding is you attract more people that are meant to align with you as friends or business associates or whatever it is that you're doing career-wise. You find the people that are meant to be surrounded by you, and that's what's attracted. Very much like you and I, for example.
Yeah. And I want to share that with my audience. So basically, yeah, Jada slid into my DMs. I love the power of Instagram now, because we're from different states, but sliding to your DMs, if someone is real and genuine, I happen to be, I think I was traveling to Sydney either that week or the fortnight, doing, you know, a bit of the fly in, fly out, because my mum lives in Sydney. But then as a woman of action, we just caught up with no other intention other than let's just catch up at a cafe. And I'm pretty sure like it was one of the most, well, I know it was one of the most empowering conversations, but it wasn't surface level. We dived straight in, and we like we spoke for 2 to 3 hours as a catch up. It wasn't a 30-minute, 40-minute conversation. And then from there, that power of that network and that friendship has just kind of led us into so many different things that we wouldn't have known in that conversation in meeting.
No way, not at all.
So what do you think? What is your opinion on the power of networking?
I think that the saying goes, your network is your net worth. It could not be more spot on.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because even if I use my business, for example, when I've been doing an event in Melbourne, the first person that comes to mind is you. So I needed you to go source venues. You became my event manager. It was natural. There was trust. There was no stress about the price. There was no stress about what work was going to be carried out, because we already had a great relationship and I had trust in what you do. So not only for business, but also as well for future ventures, for windows of opportunity opening, or even things coming up that you don't plan for, but you would be suitable for. There's people in your network would reach out to you. So I think getting as many people in your network, again, as I mentioned, that align with your values personally and professionally. And even if there's no, you know, strategy or agenda at the moment, just knowing that I'm attracted to that person, I like what they're doing, I want to know them, I'm going to shoot them a message without wanting anything. Couldn't be any more, you know, authentic and build a better relationship than one that's built on not wanting anything.
Yeah. Or having an ulterior agenda or
motive. Yes.
Sense that. I think people nowadays, we sense that someone wants to take something, or like from a mile away. And a real authentic connection, it might not be now. Like when we met 4 years ago, it wasn't like, this is what I'm going to get out of this person. But exactly like you're saying, the world does like a 360, or like it does its own thing. And then somewhere down the line, when you need that network or person, it's like, hey, that person was really genuine. Oh, I remember they said they do, you know, marketing or accounting. And then they're the first person that like, you know, comes to your
front of mind, definitely. Yeah.
It's insane. It's so powerful. And even like the power of referring, which is what we were saying, like if you can't help someone with the service, you can refer them to someone in your network. And it's just this growing community.
And the great thing is referring others in your network is there's trust there. Like even if we use like a tradie, for example, like let's say you want to get your electrical work done, it's like there's so many people out there who could do it, but who do you call?
Correct.
You become overwhelmed with options that you're like, I just want to know someone that's like trustworthy, that's not going to rip me off, that knows what they're doing and they're going to sort it out. Whereas that doesn't really happen if you don't have someone that you know that does it. So you know, even friends of friends or business owners that you know, friends of theirs or people they know, you know, it might be clients. It's an endless world of opportunities, but trust being the most important thing. And that comes from relationships. Trust comes from knowing people within that relationship.
Yeah, I totally agree, because word of mouth is still, the most powerful marketing tool. Someone's referral is, I know for a fact, is much more trustworthy, even if I haven't met them, but coming from a source than Googling,
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, incredible. How did you get into, so Boss Lady events, how did you get into events? What drew you to running an event empire?
If I'll be totally honest with you, I've done a master's in business and a bachelor of business, and one of the electives was events. And I've always been that person that like plans parties and does birthdays, and everyone's always like, when are you going to do something? Are you going to do something soon? Or it's my birthday, it's my wedding, it's this, can you help me? And I'm always like, yeah, I'll do it. But I actually completed my master's. I had done all of my study, and then I realized at the end of both of my degrees, I was like, I actually got the best marks in events. That's so weird. Not even realizing.
Yes.
And then what had happened was I had my wedding. I'm married to Middle Eastern, so we had 360 people at the wedding. For them, that's a small wedding. Like the family were upset we didn't get to invite everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, it was crazy. And I literally done it with my eyes closed, no stress. I just done it. Yeah, I do events really naturally. So it kind of went from there. After I got married, I was kind of feeling a bit lost because I was running my husband's business at the time. And again, I was doing it with my eyes closed. So I'm like, I've been doing this for 2-3 years now. I know what I'm doing. Like, this is easy. And then I was like, I want to do something else. So I had already been coaching friends and family and sometimes random strangers here and there throughout the years. Obviously, I've done my master's in business as well, and I've owned numerous businesses. So I was like, I want to do something fun. Like, I want to have a job where I like get dressed up and have to get my hair done, look for an outfit, because these are all the things I love, right?
Yeah.
Get to have like a cocktail or whatever it might be. I was like, but I just get so sick of hearing the same shitty conversations about people complaining about their job or their partners or their lives or whatever. And I was like, oh, I don't care. Like, I don't want to talk about that. Like, I was feeling really disengaged from my current group of friends. And then I literally just said to Steve, that's my husband, I said, you know what, I'm going to invite these people that I follow from online. I'm going to invite them for lunch. So I invited them for lunch. I arranged everything. I've done all my little touches, the name tags, the little goodie bags, all of the touches that I always do. Invited them, organized everything. And literally on that day, 6 people came and they became the guest speakers. So I had a mini run sheet, just asking questions that I wanted to know about them, because I didn't really know these people. Yeah. And I wanted to build relationships with them, similar to what I've built with you, where I've reached out, made a connection, and then I'm like, I want to know more. Like, I want you in my network. I want, to be in your life. You're inspiring me, motivating me in some way. So we ended up having the event. They became the guest speakers on the day. We had a beautiful high tea, took some photos, and then I literally, at the end of the lunch, the high tea, I pitched them what my idea was, So at the time, I actually wasn't really sure what it was. So it grew from there. So I started an Instagram page, and then from there, I was just using other people's content. I was resharing, I was writing captions that were based on how I was feeling, what I was going through, what I wanted, how I feel, my personality, and strangers started following. And it just started from there. I'd done my first event with the 6 people. That was in March 2018. And then in July 2018, I done a very similar event, but I opened to 30 tickets to strangers, and literally I sold out every seat.
Yeah.
Crazy. And it's just gone from there. So I didn't really plan to, do events. I didn't plan to be like an event manager. That was never really the plan. It just kind of came. And then I realized that event, the public one, I realized there, I was like, everyone's asking me questions about business. Like, oh, wait, hold on. People have been doing this to me all my life, because I bought my first business at 19. So it's like, I'm in my late 20s now. It's like, people have always asked me questions. So it kind of went from there. So I was like, well, look, why don't we set up a time, you and I, we can sit down and have a chat, and I can help you in your business. Yeah. And that's how the coaching began. So the way that it pretty much works is we run the events, and then at the events, we literally, it's social. We have a panel of guest speakers of women that inspire me. Again, it's the same, it's the whole strict structure of the original event. And then at the end of the event, I just talk about, hey, this is what I do. I'm actually a business coach. If you need help, you're wanting to ask any questions to me, feel free. And that's literally how it came about. And it's just gone from strength to strength. So I'm predominantly coaching at the moment because of lockdown. In the last 12 months, we've only done one event. Prior to the event that we done in March this year was the Melbourne event that you and I done together. Yeah. So it's been a while, but yeah, it wasn't by plan. It wasn't by force. It was definitely just by being consistent, knowing that I wanted to do more and give to my clients, and incorporating all the things that I love, because I love to, you know, socialize and have a good time and see people, human connection, as we talked about before. But I like also to have like a bit of a driver behind the conversation where there is, you know, questions being asked that are more than just, how's your family? How is life? How are you? So there's a bit more structure in the conversation, because even as you said in our first meetup, like you and I being very similar personalities and being on the same wavelength, is you and I just right real quick, you know. Yeah. So that's what the events are for. So it's been a crazy journey, and when I look back now, I'm like, I don't even know how I got to this stage, but one thing I know I did was I just continually showed up and I made small plans and small goals, and I just kept reaching those small goals. And with small steps, by the time you look back, you're like, actually, it's been a lot's happened.
I've climbed a mountain, you know, and it is having that one foot in front of the other. And what I love about hearing your story and your journey is there's zero shame or humiliation or like negativity about your first event having 6 people. And, you know, I'm in the event industry as well. And I think with a lot of my clients that want to run an event, they're always so like, okay, I want 200 people. I want to pack it.
Why?
And it's like, what is it about that? Is it an egotistical thing? Do we need to break that down? Because 6 people, and if you can influence 6 people to then turn into 30, means you've already quadrupled your audience and your like client numbers. But start small and then dream big. And what I love about you is just going, 6 people came to my event, and that's 6 people more than I had if I didn't do any event.
Yeah. And I think as well that with business owners, and, you know, I don't even like to say the word entrepreneurials or entrepreneurs. For me, I'm just a born hustler. I just make shit happen. And I do that by showing up, putting in the hours, putting in the work, regardless of what it looks like. Like, honestly, in the most respectful way, if I had to shovel shit to survive, I would do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people aren't willing to do that because they're too good for it. Yeah. And that's ego coming in. And I've got so many clients, and I'll say to them, listen to me, right now your ego is playing you. That's controlling you. And because of that, your business isn't going to move forward. I've literally operated out of my pizza shop as my office for over 12 months. My team rock up to my pizza shop in the day and we operate from there. Yeah. I sometimes have clients coming to the shop and they're like, are you in the pizza shop? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, you're operating, is this your office? I'm like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Why would I go and sign a lease in a crazy period when I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow?
Exactly.
Yeah, you know, so I think it's just about staying level, like not getting too ahead of yourself. Like, no one makes $1 million on the first day. Yeah. No one's going to be selling 1 million tickets on the first day. Even now, I've never had an event with 200 people, because the truth is, with 200 people, I can't give them value.
I agree. Yeah.
I can speak to them and project value, but I can't get around to the room and touch them and hug them and have a conversation with 200 people. It's actually, you leave feeling like you're just a number, like she didn't care.
Yeah.
So even with our events, like we try to keep it to maximum about 100.
And even that is a big event, you know.
Even that I struggle with. For me, my perfect number is around 40.
Yeah.
Because I can get around and give everyone more than 5 minutes of my time.
Yes.
I can give introductions. As the numbers get bigger, yeah, you're making more money, but you're giving less value, which means those clients are more than likely not going to return.
Yes. Yeah.
They didn't feel like they were acknowledged or valued, or that you cared, or that they got that time with you. So for me, it's about customer experience. The money will come. That's the truth. The money comes, but if you start off with good core values and you continue to work hard and go above and beyond, and don't let your ego dictate your next move, then I really genuinely believe that you will succeed no matter what you're doing. Yeah. And that's what I've done.
Yeah. And as I've interviewed all these different business owners and people that inspire me, it is a common thing, like just get started. You don't have to have the flashy office or like a, real fancy business card or even a website. Like just go out there and be you and be authentic. I didn't end up in events. Like I didn't think I was ever going to end up in events. But when you kind of follow wherever your instincts and your like passions guide you, you'll find a business for yourself that will actually just work and people will gravitate towards it like they have for you.
And doors open. Doors open because of who you've got in your network, because they see you doing good work, so they want to work with you.
Yeah. No, it's so true. What do you think some of the most common pitfalls or mistakes are for startups? Because I know you've worked with startups before. What do you
see? Yes, I work with a lot of startups.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the pitfalls is definitely going to be that they're too focused on in years' time. They're thinking about, today I want to make this many sales. Today I want to make this much money. Today I want to be doing this. I want to buy this. I want to get this. I want to go here. I want to work with this person. And the truth is that should be your last thought. What you need to be thinking about today is, how am I going to generate cash flow within the business to be able to reinvest it to make more money, to reinvest it to make more money, to adapt my skills, to employ staff that do things better than I do. I think that needs to be the focus, and people concentrate too much on this person that's doing this, or, even I use like the pizza shop, for example. I use this to many of my clients. I say, if you were to start a pizza shop today, even if the pizza was better than the pizza that we offer at my pizza shop, do you think that you can compete with me directly? And they'll say yes. And I say no, because my husband's been there for 20 years. You can't compete with that. He's been there for 20 years. He's already 20 years ahead of you.
Yeah.
So instead of worrying about competing, worry about what you're going to do that's going to set you apart from me.
Yeah.
So I think that that's one of the biggest lessons, is people looking at other people going, oh, I want to be like that. But they're 10 years in, 20 years in. They can't compete with it because you're on day one. You don't even know what works for you or if this is going to work for you.
Yeah. And also, if you're competing against someone else's pizza shop, that pizza shop already exists. So you're not, why are you imitating or competing or comparing when you should be figuring out what your unique value is? What do you provide to your community and your audience and your clients?
And with Instagram, I love it just as much as you do. My whole business for Boss Lady is built from the gram. But one of the things that I can say is it's got positives and negatives, because if it's used in a negative way, then it can actually tear business owners and people down, because already their dreams are shattered by simply looking at someone else's page going, I want to be at that, I'm nowhere near that. So if Instagram is something that doesn't work for your mental health, just delegate that to someone else. Don't do it. Don't fall into that trap. Set those boundaries, and focus on what you're doing. Work in the business. Be present in what you're actually doing, and don't be worried too much about what's happening outside, because results will come when you put in the work.
Yeah. And that consistency that you're saying, you just kept showing up, even when I'm sure there were times where you didn't feel like you were getting the results, because there's a delay. Like,
100%,
that action you put in, you don't even know when that gratification will come, but you just got to believe that it's on its way.
Yeah. And I think with me, from my very early stages of owning my first business back when I was 19, I was so in a rush to make that $1 million today, to make that money and do this and see success and be wonderful. And as I got older, I started realizing that I'm actually not in a rush for it, because I'm so confident that, and I say this to my staff, my friends, I've got it up in my office wall. It says, for me, it's just a matter of when. And to me, that says that as long as you continue showing up, success will come, depending on what that looks like to you. It might be the millions of dollars in the bank. Could be living in that beautiful house. It might just be to be financially secure. Whatever it is that drives you and success is to you. For me, what success looks like, it's just a matter of when, because I'm putting in the work. So when you go to the gym and you run on the treadmill every day, you're going to get fitter. It's the exact same for work. If you work your butt off every single day, doing what you can, being consistent, showing up, then of course you're going to get results, because you're doing the work.
Yeah.
So I try to tell so many people that I find that the small to medium-sized business owners, they do get it. The more established business owners, you know, the 3 to 5 years or the 5-year plus business owners, they understand it. Whereas the startup businesses, they don't, because they're rushed. They're in a rush.
And they don't have the, like what you said, they don't have the years under their belt. A startup is exactly what that is, a startup. So they're very visionaries, they're driven. You know, we were once a startup, and I've been there where it was like, I just want to create the biggest expo, which is literally what I set out to do. And then the reality was,
you've done it.
But the reality hadn't caught up to me until year 2, 3, 4. And then now as the business matures, now I can kind of in hindsight be like, these are my pitfalls, exactly like what you said. Cash flow for me was huge. Like now every single business that comes and I coach, I'm like, cash flow, know your numbers. I don't care about your, you know, Instagram and your logo. Tell me how you're going to make money, because that is the driving fuel for any business. If it doesn't make money, it's a hobby.
100%. And I say this to so many of my clients, and they're like, oh, but I just want to try this, or I'm trying, and I'm like, no, that's not working. Like, that is not making you money. And anyone that says, I'm doing this because I love it, bullshit. You're doing it, you've started this business because you want to make money. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with it. I think that with society, the pressure of, you know, social media, people on there flaunting their stuff. Love the gram. I love seeing that stuff that people are flaunting. I'm not going to pretend I don't. I do. I love it. But I think that a lot of people, they're in this mindset where they're like, what I'm going to actually do is get this stuff to flaunt, but I actually don't have any money. I actually can't afford it. I actually have that Louis bag, but there's no money in it. And it's like, well, hold on a second. That doesn't make sense. That's not success for anyone.
Yes.
So I think it's just getting into your mind and accepting in yourself where you stand within the business. And again, not letting that ego drive you and make decisions that aren't getting you financial results. Because as you said, if it is not making you money, it's a hobby. You may as well go get a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Because it's stable income every week. You're not having to live that, you know, entrepreneurial lifestyle where you're stressed. Am I going to pay my bills this week? Am I going to do this week? Is this going to happen? Oh, we can't run events now. We haven't done one for 14 months.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? I can't pivot because this is all I know.
Yeah. Because that is the thing with anyone that is a business owner or an entrepreneurial trait. There's a level of risk. There's so much more risk than having job security, even though job security is a whole nother topic that I think is not real. The amount of jobs that closed down and people got let go after working in companies for 20, 25 years. The pandemic as an example. You just got to choose where your risks are, how bad do you want it? Because being a business owner, I think it is one of the hardest things anyone can do. Hats off to anyone that has a business, because most businesses fail within 1 to 3 years, and then they just die because there's no cash flow. So the budgeting and the money it's a really important conversation to have. And I think, why is it that women, I think more commonly women shy away from talking about money and making money and getting that abundance in money? What do you think that is?
Yeah, I think it's because, and I am for the traditional approach. Again, I'm not going to paint the picture and say I'm not, because I am. I do see the male being the provider and, you know, the women being the more nurturing carer. But I'm also a huge believer in the fact that you can both do both. I've always worked. I've never not worked. Even when I, you know, have children in the future, I always say, make sure my laptop is there, make sure that's packed in the baby bag, because I will be working. I'll be taking my kids with me to work or whatever it might be. And I think that what happens in society at the moment is that women shy away because they're scared to fail. So they're not wanting to take that risk because they're scared that it's not going to work out, and then they feel that they're embarrassed. It's emotions. As women, we're emotional beings, and I think that's probably the biggest issue in, you know, building your own business or starting. Everyone wants to start small. They don't want people to know. They don't want people whispering. They don't want people making assumptions. Instead of just owning it and saying, hey, this is what I'm doing, I'd love your support, please spread the word, they're more so shying away. So I think it's going to come down to, unfortunately, you know, part of the traditional approach that I am for, but I think it's just, society and what society has painted as the norm. Starting to expand more and more now, with women obviously, you know, doing the work-life mum balanced, and that being a huge thing that started to become more normal. But I think over the years, the more women that see success need to be sharing that with other women and helping them. And that's one of the things that I've noticed over the years, and something I advocate and stand for, is that help those around you and also help yourself so you can help them.
Absolutely.
If you see success and you do well, amazing, because that means you can then impact others around you.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people, they get scared to help others because they think that that may pull them down, or, you know, all these insecurities and emotions come into play. And I think that we need to be calling bullshit on that. And I think we need to be moving away from it. Even with you and I, you know, you could even say that we are potentially competitors, even though we're in different states, but we do nothing but lift each other up.
Absolutely.
You know, prior to us recording and jumping on the podcast, you were giving me ideas, I was giving you ideas.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're leveraging, you know, what each other brings to the table. So I think that more women need to just stop having that little doubt in the back of their head, or having that ulterior motive where they think, oh, if I am friends with her, I can do this. Where it should just be that, you know, I'm a woman, and any other woman that wants to see success, if I can help them, I will help them.
Yeah. It's so, and that's what your entire, I think that's why Boss Ladies events and the community that you've created is so successful and has reached such a large amount of people, because of that real mission. Your real mission is to empower people. When you go to one of your events, everyone is lifted, the energy is there, it's electric. And that really is much the driving force from you, but also the workplace culture that you've created, where it is confidence. You can't go to this event not confident, because we'll make you confident.
Yeah.
Like by the time you step out of our events, you're going to feel really good about yourself. So
yeah,
it's just the aim of the game. And I love that about you, because your Instagram, both your personal and your business profiles, you're so willing and generously giving out tips to your community, right? You're always going, here are 3 tips, or this is, you know, a tactic or a fact or some education. What are 3 tips that you can give for women that are really struggling to live a life of fulfillment, or they're scared to live their best life? What's 3 tips that you can think of?
The best advice I can give anyone in life is to find out what you do, like what that you, I can't get my words out now. Find out what it is that you love and become better at it. So what I've seen a lot in the corporate world, back when I was there for 7 years, not living my best life, but living with a good pay packet and great bonuses, was they were constantly saying, okay, this is your weakness, we need to develop it. Yeah. No, mate, I don't want to be developing my weakness. I want to be strengthening my strength.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, the very first thing I say to people that they're saying, I want to do something, but I just don't know what. I'm like, what are you good at? Me, I'm good with people. I'm great at socializing. I'm great at boosting people's confidence. I'm great, you know, giving people kicks up the butt. I'm great with business. You know, I make money, and I'm great with hustling. These are all the things I'm naturally good at. I'm a great event manager, throw amazing parties. They're all the things I'm good at. Okay, cool. Let's pick all of those little bits and put them together and work out how we can turn that into a business.
Yes.
So that's the tip number 1. Number 1 is definitely find out or identify what you love, and then work out how you can turn that into something you're going to continue to do every day.
Yeah.
Even with my girls that work for me, when I interview, I'm going through the interview process at the moment to bring on a new assistant. I say to them, listen, if you don't want to come into a workplace where you're going to have fun every day and you're not going to look forward to work, don't work for me.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, when it's on, we are working, but when it's not, I want to make sure we're having a good time while we're working. So that's definitely something to think about as well. Number 2 is definitely going to be stop worrying about what other people are doing and thinking, because, you know, your own ego gets into your own head, and then you start to put unnecessary pressure onto yourself that you don't need to, like irrelevant. And this drives, and also it demotivates people. It demotivates ourselves if we see someone doing, you know, things that we wish we were doing. Just take your plan, take your small steps every single day, and over time that will see success. And the third one would definitely be to get out there and meet people, like network, because at the end of the day, you know, I share this freely, I've said it to you a million times. When I started my business, I was so unhappy I felt alone. I felt as if I didn't fit in. I felt as if I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I wasn't happy. And I started thinking, no, I'm going to do something. I'm going to make sure I never feel like this again. And I'm going to make sure that if there's anyone out there that's also feeling like this, I'm either one, going to help them to get out of that rut, or number two, I'm going to make sure that no one I know or no one that surrounds me is going to feel how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
And that can be as simple as sliding into someone's DM. You can speak to anyone, any time of the day or night, in any country, worldwide, simply by going onto social media, Facebook, Instagram, commenting, liking, following. Like, it's literally a button away.
Yeah.
So growing your network simply by, offering warm conversations through the DMs. I know that's what's built a great friendship with you and I, is me sliding into your DM saying, hey, Mel, love what you do, would love to have a coffee. I'm so attracted to your vibe. I want to be around you. I want to know you. And look at us many years later, still great friends, catching up. You come for pizzas. We do work together. So definitely reaching out to those people that you want to be around. And even if they don't reply, that's still cool.
You still sent it out there. You're sending it out to the universe. Obviously, not every single person's going to reply, but you can't take that personally. The right people are going to reply and engage.
Yeah, definitely. So that would be my three. So number one would be finding out what you do well and strengthening that. Number two would definitely be turning up as authentically you and not worrying about ego. And number three would be networking. And that can be as simple as if you're in your house and you can't go to events, or, you're shy or you're not feeling comfortable, sliding into DMs with hello messages, just, hey, I'm Jada. I just want to say hi. I love what you do. I love what you're about. I love your content. I listen to your podcast. I'd love to come to your next event, whatever it might be.
Exactly.
And I just wanted to introduce myself and say hi, because I really want to know you. That's it. You're not asking for anything. You're not selling anything. It's just a genuine, hey.
Yeah. I see.
And I think that's,
I want you to see me too. That's it.
I want you to see me. That's right. And I think that's something that you do really well on your platform, is that you ask for those conversations and you open your arms for them. And that's why you've been able to grow such a genuine and loyal, tribe that stand behind you no matter what you do. Even me, I will always support you. And these people that follow you online, they feel like that too, because we feel we're in your life, we're impacting you and you're serving us, even though you're just being yourself. So yeah, it's just so important to turn up as yourself.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And this is such a beautiful segue to my final question. But first of all, Jada, I wanted to acknowledge you for your time, your generosity in just giving so much in this powerful conversation. It's always tip after tip with you. You're such a strong, confident woman that it's hard not to feel confident and empowered after this call. So I wanted to acknowledge you and thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
The last question that I finish with everyone that jumps on this podcast, it's called The Authentic Me. So what does authenticity mean to you?
I think it's not putting any pressure or boundaries on yourself. And when I say that, I mean like not over adapting to situations. So for example, with me, I might go into a corporate environment. I might be, last week I was with one of the local MPs. Other times I'm in my pizza shop. Sometimes I'm, glam for the gram at my events. And I think that no matter what you do, it's always just authentically being yourself. Like I know with me, I drop a swear word here and there. I laugh, I make shit jokes, but I laugh, I think they're funny. So I think it's important to just realize that there's no longer that stigma of this is the box and you've got to fit into it. I think it's just about being yourself and letting your natural personality shine through, even if people don't like it.
Yeah. And we were saying that offline, how not everyone's going to like you, and you're
and that's fine. That's okay.
Exactly. But the right people, if you show up as you, it's so much easier to just be yourself,
it is,
than to try and be an imposter or to try and compare and compete.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, like if you're in a position of, influence, whether that's, in your workplace, at home, with your kids, whatever it might be, in the gym, in your dance group, whatever it might be, there's always someone looking and watching and inspired and motivated that you're impacting. And I think just being conscious of that, because without realizing it, you are impacting those around you. at different levels at different times. So if you're not truly being yourself, then you might not be making the impact that you could be because you're not being genuine, you're not being you. Like, you know, with me, even for example, if I didn't say those stupid, lame dad jokes and shit things that people are like, what? People would probably be thinking, or they wouldn't be thinking I'm as crazy and funny and awkward as I am, because I would just be like normal, I'd just be bland.
Yeah.
So sometimes those quirkinesses can make you, you know, stand out from the crowd, and it can actually give you that level of, oh, she's interesting.
Yeah.
Based on the fact that you'd say stupid dad jokes, or the fact that, you know, wear outrageous outfits, or, you know, it might even just be the fact that you're really respectful and you're a good listener, that you don't need to say much, just your presence is calming. Like, so yeah, for me, it's definitely really important that you just continue to let yourself shine, and don't worry about those around you. You know, not everything is what you see.
Yeah.
You know, behind closed doors, people are not what they always seem to be, but you don't want to be that person where people go, is she really like that? Yeah. Is that really her? Where there's doubt, because that loses trust. So with me, if you see me in the street, yell out, scream high, I will respond. I am friendly. Yes, you know, I have people sometimes they'll see me. I'm like, I wanted to say hi. I'm like, why didn't you? Like, I'm annoyed you didn't say hi. Yeah. So, and not missing those opportunities, because that's a missed opportunity, because, you know, I've been scared or whatever it might be, because they felt like they couldn't,
absolutely,
you know, be themselves to even say hi. Again, that comes back to confidence.
Yes. So now this is the perfect opportunity, guys. If you're feeling confident, use this time to now connect with Jada. Jada, where can people find you? Where are you most active?
So the best place to find me is definitely on the gram, Instagram at Boss Lady Events, or you can check out my personal account, Jada_Perfect. Feel free to slide into either DMs. If you're hungry and want a pizza, you're in New South Wales, I'm at Sesame Pizza. Or you can shoot me an email, hello@thebosslady.com.au, or feel free to stalk me on my website, thebosslady.com.au.
I love it. She's so accessible everywhere. Don't miss out on this opportunity to connect. Jada, thank you so much for jumping on to the Authentic Me podcast. I value your time, and every single time we catch up, I just feel so motivated and empowered. So thank you for your energy. And until next time, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this week on The Authentic Me. If you found value in this episode, please smash that like button and share with someone who may also benefit from our content. Never miss an episode by subscribing to this podcast, available on all audio streaming platforms. And make sure to let me know what you want to hear more of on this journey to your truest, highest, authentic self. See you next time. Bye.